Aliens are any living creatures that are not originally from Earth. They could be anything from intelligent life to simple bacteria. However, there was no concrete evidence to support life outside of our planet as of now. Scientists had allegedly found in an asteroid what could be Martian bacteria. Over the past 10 years, there have been 5,000 reports of UFOs in China. The Mengjiaoguo incident refers to a supposed close encounter experienced by a man of the same name, which purportedly took place in Red Flag Forest in Heilongjiang. In 1994, Mengjiaoguo reported that he and a relative had followed what he thought was a weather balloon after they saw a white, shining object descend into Red Flag Forest. His story was examined by the UFO Enthusiasts Club at Wuhan University throughout 1997. They concluded that, while the initial contact may have occurred, the subsequent reported events were almost certainly untrue. However, the state-sponsored UFO Research Society concluded that his claims were true. The Qingshan flying jellyfish, also known as the atmospheric jellyfish, is a type of UFO sighted by a Chinese Air Force pilot and 140 ground officials on Monday, October 19, 1998 in Qingshan, China. The sighting prompted speculations on what the creature really was. On that day, 4 military radar stations in Hebei Province, China, reported the presence of an unidentified blip hovering above a military flight training school in Changzhou. Once authorities determined that the intruder was not a military or civilian flight, Colonel Li, the base commander, ordered a Jianjiao 6 jet fighter to take off and intercept the UFO. At least 140 people on the ground saw the object. They described an object with a mushroom or jellyfish-like dome, with a bottom covered with bright, dangling lights. A base commander surnamed Li reported to his superiors, who ordered a Jianjiao 6 armed interceptor airborne to pursue the object once checks showed no other civilian or military aircraft in the area. When they got within 4,000 meters, or 13,200 feet, of the UFO over Qing County, it abruptly shot upward, easily evading subsequent attempts to get closer. On July 7th, an unidentified flying object was spotted above Hangzhou Xiaoshan International Airport near Hangzhou, China. The airport was closed down due to the sighting. Thousands of people from 2 separate locations on October 15th in China reportedly saw a huge alien floating city in the skies. Some of the onlookers reportedly took videos of the floating city appearing among the clouds and posted them on YouTube. According to a report by Express, Chinese television stations claimed that thousands of people from 2 regions of China reportedly saw a huge city in the skies on separate occasions. It was first spotted at Foshan in Guangdong Province of China, before appearing in the skies over Jiangxi Province, China. The footage, which was recorded by a local resident, appears to show a huge city floating in the clouds, reads the description of the video. The apparition, which was witnessed by hundreds of shocked local residents, only lasted a few minutes before completely disappearing. However, experts think that the phenomena could be a mirage. Jill Coleman, an atmospheric scientist at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, thinks that it is a fata morgana. But if it is real, it's called a superior mirage, which just means it's an upward projecting mirage, Jill Coleman told National Geographic. She went on to say that temperature inversions seemed to be going on in Jiangxi and Foshan regions when the video was taken, and that the video appeared to be real, as some of the buildings in the city below the clouds look similar to what shows up in the sky. On the other hand, Peggy Lamone, an atmospheric scientist at the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, told the same website that it looks almost too good. June 1908. The Tunguska event of 1908 was a large explosion that occurred near the Stony Tunguska River in the Yeniseisk Governorate, now Krasnoyarsk Krai, Russian Empire, on the morning of June 30th, 1908. The explosion over the sparsely populated eastern Siberian taiga flattened 2,000 square kilometers of forest and caused no known casualties. The cause of the explosion is generally thought to have been a meteor. It is classified as an impact event, even though no impact crater has been found, and is generally thought to be the explosion of a meteor, though some regard it as the explosion of a UFO. On September 20, 1977, the first sighting of an atmospheric jellyfish occurred above the skies of Petrozavodsk. Later in 1977, the Soviet party paper Pravda announced an intensely radiant star, which looked like a shining jellyfish, stood above Petrozavodsk. It moved slowly towards Petrozavodsk, throwing rays of light on the city. There were thousands of beams, and it looked like heavy rain. A little later, the beaming came to an end. The source of light changed its brightness and moved towards Oninsko Lake. On the horizon were gray clouds, and when the object went into these, a number of semicircles and circles of pink light appeared. The manifestation lasted 10 to 12 minutes. January 29, 1986. The Height 611 UFO incident on January 29, 1986, was a supposed UFO crash that happened in Dalnogorsk, Primorsky Krai. The Voronezh UFO incident of 1989. The Sassuwo explosions were two mysterious explosions which occurred on April 12, 1990 and July 8, 1992, equivalent to 25 tons of TNT. After strange sounds were heard there, in December 2011, a crashed titanium object, described as a UFO fragment, was retrieved from a forest in the vicinity of Otnenskoye, a rural locality in Novosibirsk Oblast. The smooth, silvery, U-shaped device was attached to a rounded section and was not deemed to be related to space technology. Prehistoric time. Prehistoric rock paintings found at Charama, Kanker District, Chhattisgarh State, depicted strange humanoid figures and drawings similar to flying saucers with fan-like antennae and 3 legs. Alexander the Great's account. In 329 BC, on the then Central Asian Indian border, now between Tajikistan and Afghanistan, Alexander the Great's armies were attacked by strange flying objects. His historians told of 2 strange objects in the sky that dove repeatedly at his army as they were attempting a river crossing in the Jack-Sartes River. The action panicked his elephants, horses, and men. They had to abandon the river crossing until the following day. They were described as great silver shields, spitting fire around the rims. In 1951, on March 15th at 10:20 a.m., in New Delhi, 25 members of a flying club saw a cigar-shaped object in the sky, which was about 100 feet long. The UFO hovered and then vanished from sight. On October 4th, 1957, a flying saucer was reportedly seen in the afternoon by about 800 people in 3 villages, Kadori, Borsa, and Mangolda, in the Manbhum district of Bihar. Mr. Ijapada Chatterjee, manager of a mica mine, told the Times of India that the UFO was about 12 feet in diameter and gray in color. The object descended to an altitude of about 500 feet, hovered for a few minutes, and then soared upwards at an incredible speed, causing a tremendous blow of wind. In 2007, on October 29th, early morning, in eastern Kolkata, a fast-moving object was spotted at 30 degrees on the eastern horizon between 3:30 and 6:30 a.m., and filmed using a personal handycam. Its shape shifted from a sphere to a triangle and then to a straight line. The object emitted a bright light forming a halo and radiated a range of colors. It was spotted by many people, and hundreds gathered along the EM bypass to catch a glimpse of the UFO, triggering a frenzy. The video footage was released on a TV news channel and later shown to Dr. D.P. Duari, the director of MP Birla Planetarium, Kolkata, who found it to be extremely interesting and strange. Residents of Mogappaiyar, Chennai, observed 5 specks of bright orange light moving from south to north around 8:55 p.m. on Thursday, June 20, 2013. This was reported in a newspaper on June 23, 2013, and the witnesses included an officer in a bank. On August 4, 2013, soldiers of the Indian Army observed unidentified flying objects at Lagankher area, Demchok, Ladakh, India. It is reported that Army troops had observed more than 100 UFO movements along the Arunachal Pradesh border area during the previous 7 months. A series of pictures of the sun sunset over the Rajajipuram area of Lucknow on July 23, 2014 were claimed to show a UFO. A commercial pilot reportedly informed the Mumbai Air Traffic Control Room that she spotted a green and white UFO near Pune during the first week of October 2014 at a height of about 26,300 feet. A photograph published by the news media was claimed to show a nail-shaped UFO over Kochi in the southern part of India on October 29, 2014. Abhijit Gupta claimed to have captured photographs of a UFO from his house rooftop in Shyamnagar, a suburb of Kanpur, on June 25, 2015. In 1883, on August 12, the astronomer José Bonilla reported seeing more than 300 dark, unidentified objects crossing before the sun while he was observing sunspot activity at Zacatecas Observatory in Mexico. He took a number of wet plate photographs with an exposure of 1/100th of a second. Although it was later found that the objects were actually high-flying geese, Bonilla is usually given the distinction of having taken the earliest photo of an unidentified flying object. Local residents reported a mid-air collision between a UFO and a small airplane near the town of Koyame on August 25, 1974, followed by a military investigation and cover-up. However, historians say that such UFO reports were likely prompted by the 1974 crash and military recovery of a Cessna aircraft involved in drug trafficking. On Friday, March 5th, Mexican Air Force pilots using infrared equipment to search for drug-smuggling aircraft recorded 11 unidentified objects over southern Campeche. Mexico's Defense Department issued a press release on May 12, accompanied by videotape that showed moving bright lights at 11,500 feet. Mexican ufologist Jaime Maussan interpreted the videotape as proof of alien visitation. However, science writer and skeptic Michael Shermer was critical of witness accounts that varied wildly, saying it was like a fisherman's tale, growing with each retelling, while other experts suggested the lights were most likely burn-off flares from oil platforms. A team of paranormal experts in Mexico say that aliens detained Hurricane Patricia. They claim that the strange appearance of alleged unidentified flying objects hours before the entry of powerful Hurricane Patricia are tested. According to experts, the alleged unidentified flying objects appeared on the shores of Manzanillo one day before the entrance to the powerful Hurricane Patricia, considered by scientists as one of the most destructive phenomena in the history of mankind. In a video, they are grouped that were recorded on October 21, 2015, with a cell by neighboring port. December 1, 1965. This sighting is called the Adara Observatory UFO Lunar Transit. It takes place on January 12, 1965 at 8:30 p.m. at the private owner Adara Observatory in San Miguel, Buenos Aires province. Scientists received several calls concerning strange objects visible on the moon. The staff of the observatory photographed the moon in fixed intervals. After processing, some photos revealed disc-shaped objects flying in front of the moon. Some experts think that the UFOs on the photos are probably a fault in the processing of the film. On October 30th, truck driver Dionisio Lanca was admitted to the municipal hospital of Bahia Blanca. He claimed that on the night of October 27th, he left his uncle's home in Bahia Blanca to travel to Rio Gallegos when he stopped to change a tire and became paralyzed by an intense light. According to Lanca, he saw an object in the sky and beings he described as two men and a woman who subjected him to some form of medical testing. Lanca says he briefly awoke hours later, approximately 9 kilometers away. The case was investigated by UFO researcher Fabio Zerpa and published in his book El Reino Subterráneo. A silver UFO flew over Villa Urquiza, a high-density area in the city of Buenos Aires. It's considered the most spectacular UFO incident of Argentina, with more than 7,500 witnesses. The local airport reported an object flying to the west towards General Paz Avenue, seen on the radars on that sunny afternoon. On May 9, 2013, a sighting of a very big UFO in Neuquén, in the south of Argentina, was reported. Interestingly, it was seen as well in Chile around the same time. This sighting is very similar to one earlier in 2012 in Santiago de Chile, and also quite similar to a sighting on March 13, 1997 in Phoenix, USA. In 1967, the Falcon Lake incident occurred in Manitoba. Stefan Michalak was burned by one of 2 flying saucers with which he reportedly came into contact on May 19, 1967 in Falcon Lake, Manitoba. In 1967, the quiet town of Shag Harbor in Nova Scotia became the center of attention due to a mysterious event. The incident, known as the Shag Harbor Incident, involved the purported crash of an unidentified flying object in October of that year. Fast forward to 1969, in Prince George, British Columbia. On January 1st, 3 unrelated witnesses reported seeing a strange, round object in the late afternoon sky. This sphere radiated a yellow-orange light and seemed to ascend from 2,000 to 10,000 feet. Then, in 1975 to 76, southern Manitoba witnessed several sightings of a red glowing UFO. Known as Charlie Red Star, this mysterious object was often described as mischievous or playful. (1978) Clarenville, Newfoundland and Labrador. In October 1978, Constable Jim Blackwood of the RCMP witnessed a sighting of a flying saucer hovering over the harbor near the town of Clarenville and Random Island. This was reported to him by local citizens. When he arrived at the scene, the UFO was still present and quite visible. He had a special high-powered viewing scope, which happened to be on loan at the time for other surveillance. The craft stayed in the area for approximately an hour and a half. When he switched on the roof lights of his police cruiser, the craft appeared to mimic the flashing lights. This made headline news at the time and was broadcast on CBC television and NTV Broadcasting in Newfoundland. The craft took off like a shooting star high in the sky and disappeared. 2 years after the incident, the BBC did a documentary on UFO sightings and included the Clarenville sighting in their broadcast. (1990) Montreal aerial phenomenon. On November 7, 1990, in Montreal, Quebec, witnesses reported a round metallic object of about 540 meters wide over the rooftop pool of the Bonaventure Hotel. Eyewitnesses saw 8 to 10 lights forming into a circle above them, emitting bright white rays. The phenomenon lasted 3 hours from 7 to 10 p.m. and moved slowly northwards. While none could identify the lights, a few witnesses, according to the next day's report in La Presse, were ready to express their belief that they were visited by aliens. A few witnesses say what they saw in a televised interview on CBC. 2010 Harbor Mill Incident. During the night of January 25, 2010, there were multiple UFO sighting reports in Harbor Mill, Newfoundland and Labrador. Royal Canadian Mounted Police initially stated the reports were due to a missile launch, but later retracted the statement, and the Office of the Prime Minister stated that the UFOs were not missiles. – 2012 Toronto Aerial Jellyfish. The Ontario aerial jellyfish is an atmospheric jellyfish, a type of UFO, sighted in Ontario. The sighting prompted speculations on what the creature really was.